Well, hello and welcome to Five Man Shuffle, a Dota 2 transfer rumours podcast. I'm joined by John Xfire, Nomad, and Neff, all of whom are top tier rumour mongers, filth dredger uppers from the depths of the Dota scene, and we're going to be talking through some rumours. Why don't we start this time, Rumour Central, with NA, the shuffle capital of the world. Neff, you're our NA expert. Why don't you talk to us through what you know about what's happening over in that fair land?
I don't like, first of all, how you called us all rats to begin the show. And also, you said that there's no roster stability in North America, which is half true based on what I heard this week. Hey, come on, man. So this week, I finally had a chance to get my bearings. Last week, I didn't have the opportunity to really do any research as I was in Germany. I think the thing people are most interested in is evil geniuses. The Ice, and Abed being removed from the team, being replaced with Lelis and CC&C might have been not necessarily incorrect, but they were exploring a bunch of different options on evil geniuses, and I think tensions were a little bit high post-TI. I had the opportunity to talk to somebody from EG, and while he didn't give me any answers, he just wrote XD to me when I asked him to join me for the show, which was kind of nice. But he said I was off the mark with a couple of my guesses, and that's as much as I'm going to get. So I think the team is sticking together as far as like 4 out of 5 players, maybe. That's the impression I got from him, although he didn't leak anything. And every time I asked him a question, he just said, I'm not going to confirm or deny that. Other big we're still in North America. I was about to take a jump to SA.
No, let's think about North America still. I want to ask about, because the one we were relatively sure on was crit to EU. Does anyone, because people have quoted that as something that we've said. And I do want to preface this show by saying a lot of people shared rumours from this show as absolute fact. Obviously, we do our best to make sure what we're saying here is well-researched and comes from good sources. But the shuffle season is a dynamic space. So there may be ones that are not true and are possibly told to us in bad faith. Damn. So we're just reporting what we know here. Don't think this is an absolute final source.
Bottom is returning.
I would like to say on top of that, everything we say is true. Please argue about it a lot and then link everybody back to our podcast as a source of your argument so that we get more viewers. So everything we say is
and then
true.
If it turns out to not be true, please feel free to harass us and send us threats.
Yeah, Cyborg Matt was laughing at us last week.
because of the Yapsel to NA rumour, but crit to EU, I'm more confident on. Does anyone have any idea about that? Further idea?
I think that's one of the most likely ones. If they were shuffling one player on EG, something's got to give. I don't think they'll stick together with a 5-man roster. Well, the guy I talked to didn't say anything to me. Based on what I've talked to with different people, that's the most likely one. One person that I spoke to seems to think that there's absolutely no way that CC&C is joining Evil Geniuses, which is a little bit of a bummer because I would have loved to see him on the team. But I think things have changed a little bit since last week, and things are going to continue to change as they go forward. There's a couple tournaments coming up, like BTS Pro Series 9. I think we're going to see some rosters form for some of these tournaments, but then they'll shuffle just before DPC starts. So even the things that we talk about that are kind of confirmed right now and people are practicing in scrims are going to change in like the next couple of weeks here.
So what else are you knowing about? Anyone else got any NA rumors they want to share, or is it all going to be Neff?
Nope, nothing from NA here. Yeah,
all
it's
right.
all you.
No, I don't know anything about NA.
Completely disbanded Quincy Crew. Half the players going to Europe, which I don't approve of. The other half are going to be looking for teams in North America. The next team that you want to look at is Undying, and I think they're thinking about replacing 1 or 2 players, but I'm not completely certain about that one. I wasn't able to get any confirmation. For Zoomers, I think next highest team there, they're actually replacing Eternal Envy. Now, I had the opportunity to talk to a couple people doing scrims and whatnot. People discussing sponsorship with the team. It's going to be Costa Bile, Gunner, Moo, Z-Freak, and Husky on 4 Zoomers. For now, anyways. I did hear a rumor that Gunner wanted to move to Europe and play there.
That's interesting. I think at that point, if that's your roster, you need to change your name away from 4 Zoomers because there's no longer any basis in the ages or facts of your team.
Then there's Team, which is unchanged for now, which is the Sammy Boy, Roy, Brax, IX, Michael. It was Flea's last one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That one is relatively unchanged, although, again, they could just shuffle one or two of the players. And D2 Hustlers is unchanged as well, for anyone curious about that. 1437 isn't going to be returning. I'm not sure if he's focusing on casting in the upcoming season, but that one is going to be Yuma-esque Monster, Divide Llama, and not sure about the last one.
I don't want to speak for 1437 because he hasn't actually told me, but he is doing a lot of Axie stuff recently, and he started a Axie Foundation.
No crypto on the show.
So...
We know what you're like.
No.
Is this a plug? Are you being paid?
yeah. This is 1437 slipping me the money under the carpet.
Flipping the SLP under the carpet, you mean?
Of course. Yeah, great point. Oh god, he knows.
Anything else from NANF?
I heard Eternal Envy, after he's replaced on 4 Zoomers, he's going to be taking a break. He's not going to be playing in the upcoming season. That might change. I think it all depends whether or not Envy is able to get on a DPC team. If he is, I think he'll hop on, make himself a little bit of money, and kind of take things easy. But he's not going to be putting too much focus into the upcoming season, I've heard. And I think that's one of the reasons why Costa Pile is replacing him on 4 Zoomers.
So allegedly, he said, someone in my chat the other day said he said on stream that he watched Yatoro play and knew that he could never beat that player, so said he's giving up on competitive Dota.
Oh, this is the point he's decided it's Yatoro.
I know. I was thinking, like, well, I mean, you might want to focus on the carry players in your region before deciding you can't beat Yatoro in the carry role. So I don't know, but that's just how Envy works. I guess he's feeling. Yeah, I mean, he realizes he can bleed, but yeah, that's Envy maybe out of the competitive runnings for a while. I don't know. Maybe he'll return, maybe not. Maybe this is all nonsense and he's still looking to play. We just don't know. That's why it's a Rumours podcast.
I can tell you one thing. Every time Envy gets on a team, everybody says, there's no way I'm playing with Envy again. Then a couple months later, boom, they're on an Envy team. It's like the classic, I'm never drinking again.
Yeah.
You get a hangover after an Envy team and you kind of throw out all the
what was I thinking? And then you do it again.
Yeah.
It's like just a bad ex, really. It's just like he was so toxic, but at the same time, man, I just miss his laugh and the way he looks at me when I've done
and his calls from the One Rule.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about Envy, it used to be Envy and Pilot Eye. They crossed into Southeast Asia together, right? That was the couple. It took them years to separate, and I just figured, I guess Pilot Eye just couldn't live without him. He was just used to that kind of Dota, used to that kind of. God knows what happens, but yeah, it's just one of those things with Envy. I guess he's got that aura.
John, let's move to your part of the world then, China and Southeast Asia. Any things you've picked up over the past couple of weeks there?
There's been a couple. So with Fnatic releasing Chuan and Death, that opening is pretty interesting because Fnatic's the biggest paying team in Southeast Asia. There's been a lot of rumors, and these are very biased rumors because they're coming in from the Filipino community. So the rumors are that they're going to take Johnny Well and Armel, which I have no substance for that. I just see this posted everywhere. Johnny Well and Armel. So Johnny Well from OB Neon and Armel from TNC before they kind of released their roster into Fnatic. So that's a rumor.
Why me?
That's correct. I talked about the Armel one last week, I think.
It's good to have that confirmed.
Yeah. Well, confirmed as a rumor from other people. I'm not confirming it because Fnatic is I could chat Rain up, but I know what he's gonna say, so I can't quite verify that. The Johnny Well part is interesting because he's still playing on OB Neon right now in PNX Bet in a tournament or Moon Studio. I'm not sure which tournament. It should be PNX Bet. So he's still in OB Neon, but I have heard OB Neon's also changing up their roster. Unconfirmed on who. I believe they've already confirmed Palos in, and Palos was on Boom, and before that he was on Execration, so he's had a bit of a journey post TI qualifiers, and he should be on OB Neon. He's playing there right now, and I think that's a lock-in. I believe Enryu's still in there. I'm not sure who the replacements are going to be. That's still kind of floating around in Southeast Asia. Execration's still around despite losing a lot of their players, and this one is actually hard confirmed because they've been playing. The most recent tournament I've seen them in that I've casted them wasn't big. Well, it was the Predator Esports circuit, but not that big. Let's see. I've got it listed down here. I believe it was Tino on 1, Bob on 2, Samael on 3, BDZ on 4, RR on 5. So it's a kind of an amalgamation of Vice Esports into South Built Esports into X-South Built Esports.
Jesus
and
Christ.
they kind of split off into Execration. So that's been it's been a real big shakeup since DPC season 2
John,
for some of those C teams.
Next time, could you bring like a whiteboard with you so that you can like draw all this up and like kind of do a Pepe Sylvia and then he's going over here.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. We need it with a lot of these shakeups. Like, there's a surprising one in C, which isn't really a rumor, but I don't think anyone really had on our radar because again, it's a all Filipino team, so I'm not sure how aware people outside are, but Omega's already sort of confirmed their roster. They confirmed it in September, and this is still subject to change. It's a bunch of new blood from the Philippines, actually. So you've got Hero, Prince, Piol's, Van, and Zenki. I believe Van and Zenki are the most veteran there. So I'm not sure how they're going to do in the DPC when that comes around, if Omega's going to try to go in. But the Filipino scene's been shaking up. Yeah, it's been up and down. I think the big question in everyone's mind is Boom. I know the rumor was there that X Nova's coming in and CTM shifts to 1.
Week,
the only confirmed thing, the hard confirmed Palace is out, obviously, because he's on Neon. There have been a lot of conflicting rumors. The most recent one was X Nova. But before X Nova, and this is from Gary himself, he was teasing for a while that it would be basically a Filipino squad. So that led a lot of people to believe that Gabby was coming in as 1, but that rumor's kind of died out. Yeah.
Now hold on. You mentioned Prince, the new blood from that one team. This is the same Prince that was on the A team in North America?
No one's sure. Probably not, because I think that Prince actually lives in North America. So I don't think he's flying down here.
It's kind of like he was Dota buff?
Sure. Then I think I could maybe confirm. I'm not sure. Let me check this real quick.
You had the Boom roster last week, didn't you, Neff? Are you still confident in that, the X Nova one? The other one thing we thought was the 2 ex-Viking players going to Southeast Asia, which was Aramis and Boom, confusingly. Do we know has anyone heard any further rumors about where they might be ending up?
No, nothing leaking out from C for people from outside. It's all been within. Like that's the most I've been hearing. Again, the most accessible one has been the Philippine scene. So it's mainly been that rumor that John Uwelt's going to Fnatic, I think, is the latest one, which is again just a rumor because he's still an OB Neon as far as we know. Although again, OB Neon going into BTS, which Neff mentioned, is open to roster changes, I think, is the fair way to say it. So not quite sure yet. There's also a rumor, there's a rumor that a certain retired name is coming back from Southeast Asia. A very big retired name.
Oh.
A very, very, very big name.
Do you want to share that name?
Great. Would you say the biggest?
Is it Eternal Envy?
No, it's unfortunately no. I'd love to have Envy back here just to torture us with his games. I'd love to see that again. But it's a package deal. He has to be with Pilot. I know. A legend from, I think I can at least say the TI from IG winning TI. So a legend from there is coming back into the scene in Southeast Asia. Maybe it's not quite confirmed, and I'm not even sure if this is even locked in because it's just so out there. But there is a rumor that he's going to be in at least for this next tournament. So who knows? That would be pretty exciting. Well, out of retirement, he's been tweeting, right? Like Chuan has been tweeting a lot. So that
I saw a meme with his face in it the other day. That was a curious one. It's all adding up. It's all getting a little bit.
I like such a meme return. I saw a meme with his face in it the other day.
That's my source of memes that I've seen. How about China? Got any eyes on China at all?
Dude, Leon left us. It's bullshit.
Yeah, with all of our
The
China.
guy was,
Yeah,
he was afraid that teams would bite him for leaking rumors and
oh,
rosters.
they did.
and-
They knocked on his door. He told us not to say this, but yeah, they came to his door, and the Chinese Dota mafia knocked down his door, and they pulled out his fingernails and said, "If you share again, then we're coming for your toenails." And he's very protective of his toenails, so naturally, but he did quit and drop out of the podcast, unfortunately. But yeah, he did tell us not to tell that to anyone, so make sure you don't share that around. But yeah, Leon Arthur no longer has fingernails, so.
That's the next rumor to be shared on this podcast. He has been sharing, if anyone doesn't follow him on Twitter, he has been sharing a fair amount of more substantiated rumor stuff on there.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
Who's the? There's someone else in the Chinese region. What's her name? Begins with J. Who's also been very good at sharing lots of stuff from the Chinese region. I can't remember their name exactly, which is very bad journalism from me, but not journalism, so fuck it.
The main rumors that he's been sharing that Elephant are probably sticking together, which is surprising, but possible.
That is surprising.
DY and PYW might move into XG, and eHome won't disband but might reform. That's from Chalice's stream.
What about the Vici one as well? Someone posted a screenshot from Weibo of all the new Vici players, but that was entirely a rumor, I think.
The Vici were dead. Yeah, I've heard that might be the case.
It's just, yeah, X Nova's going to be there and stuff, so I don't know. Apparently, I mean, the one thing I've heard is that from both SEA and China that X Nova's going to be on every team, so very impressive for him right now. He's
a really nice guy. I think he could probably make it work. Like some sort of Freaky Friday situation.
Yeah, just make X Nova bots.
Actually, specifically to X Nova, I think I can confirm he was playing in C before these roster shakeups. He was supposed to be playing with VT Faded and Ragdoll, because he approached me in entering a tournament and trying to talk to people. But that was like past our invitation to him. But he was in Ragdoll, at least on paper, with VT Faded, so he is in the Southeast Asian region. He might be looking to stay here. He's still open, you know. He's played in China, so he could just bounce around need be. But as far as I know, I think he might just stay in Southeast Asia, but who knows?
Mm-hmm. Let's head back to Neff Town then for South America. Neff, what have you got down there from the land down under?
All right. I got some good stuff that I'm going to leak right now. Unsurprisingly, or maybe surprisingly, Beast Coast is staying together with their 5-man stack. They wanted to keep Pepita on as a coach, but unfortunately, he's leaving. He's going to be joining. What was it? Again, I had it last week. Oh, I'll talk about these other teams while I pull that one up real quick. I thought I had it on my notes here, but I think I have it on a different page. The Old Thunder Predator roster is going to be staying together as well. They're currently not sponsored by any organization. I think I mentioned last week that they were in talk with a couple people. I think that's still the case. The new Thunder Predator roster, everybody's still familiar with. It's Angel, Dark Mago, Oscar, Matthew, Pandaboo, who were formerly under No Ping. There's Infamous, which is going to be Lumiere, Alone, Sacred, Michael, and Excel, and Hakoi, which is RDO, Analog, Vitali, Elmisho, and Gardic. And what was it here? It was the Infinity lineup. Hold on one moment. You guys need to fill while I pull this one up. Go on, Phil.
Yes, SA, a region I know so much about.
I'm surprised that Beast Coast is staying together because that was a bad last series at TI. Obviously, the guys, I speak occasionally to their manager, and she's very very confident that they are a close-knit team, as I imagine she would be, being close to them. But it does seem to me unusual that... I think it definitely speaks to them as a unit that they're happy to stick together after such a weak last minute. I know there was a lot of speculation, a lot of talk on Reddit about what could have happened in the mood of the team in that last game. They were much more nervous than people realise. Is the truth.
We know from talking to the Beast Coast staff are very open about what their team's like, and their team is crazy. Like the team is just like very chaotic with terms of communications with each other and very kind of hearts on the sleeve gameplay. They'll all be shouting during the game. I mean, you can see the player cams as well. Everyone's just yelling at all the time. They're a very emotionally driven team. So I think you can expect performances like that if you have a team, I don't want to say not too much discipline, because they are disciplined when it comes to getting better, but when it comes down to it, if you let your hearts take over, it can either create the TI winning formula or unfortunately the TI losing formula. And I think that's kind of what happened in the end for them, unfortunately. But yeah, I think with a bit more kind of training and just I don't know, just come back next year. I'm glad they're staying together, honestly, even though it was a pretty it wasn't the graceful exit from TI that they'd maybe hoped for. We'll hopefully see them come back in next tournaments, because we know they're capable of making upsets. They can win against anyone and they can lose against anyone, and that's honestly a better team to have than a team which is consistently like good but not great.
Okay, I got it now.
Yes, that was some excellent filling, by the way, Nomad. Well done.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Big Jams, aka Dan Elfin, host of the Position 6 podcast. Appreciate it. Are we done now?
Yeah, Parker,
okay, good.
PP, Little Boy. Please don't laugh. Their names are PP and Little Boy. Sladen and Pepita.
And they are...
Pepita was the big one that I didn't mention. That one is going to be Infinity.
All right.
Not the Parker from Summit. That guy is...
Not gods.
Yeah.
Yeah. Australian Dota is making a big comeback, you guys.
No, guys. Let's just think about this. Maybe it is gods. Okay, we don't know that. This is a rumors podcast. So when next time you're talking to your friends, say, oh, those guys over on the 5-Man Shuffle podcast said the gods is playing. They'll be like, oh, send me the link.
God, you son of a bitch.
Come on.
I asked Gods about some information at DPC. He didn't mention this. Kill him.
Yeah.
Let's move then to talking about Europe, big old Europe. Anything knowledge from there, Nomad?
I've got quite a lot. Shall I go last?
Leak it.
Okay. Has anyone else got any knowledge from Europe? My knowledge from Europe, and you might know this better than I do, is that Fogged mentioned on a stream that No Tail is likely retiring. So that leaves a massive hole in the OG roster with Seb likely retiring, No Tail likely retiring, and Thompson claiming to have retired. That leaves just 2 players.
Oh no!
So there you go.
Yeah. I mean, we know that Samael's probably not going to return to OG in its current form, right? So as far as what I've heard, everybody wants a bit of Samael. Everyone's trying to put in their offer for him. Like pretty much every tier 1 team is trying to get
He's a handsome
Samael.
man.
Yeah, I mean, I'd want him as well. He's got the looks, he's got the gameplay, and he's got the beard. What's not to love? So he could go anywhere at this point. Nothing is really locked in. That's the thing. Like, you can say anything you want about this region because everyone in the tier 1 scene, everyone is everywhere, and of course the tier 2 scene can't really do anything until the tier 1 scene decides what they're doing. So like, obviously I'm very close with Mo Farah, the manager of Hell Bear Smash, and he's just like, I mean, even if I did tell you something, it'd be worthless because everything is just so likely to change overnight.
Yeah, that's what he told me.
I'd say, like, if you're a fan of Liquid or Team Secret or basically any EU team, you can literally say any EU team, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to watch them play next season. Manage your expectations because it's probably going to be a very different team to what we saw last time. It's everyone is changed. I'm pretty sure. I don't think we'll see a single team which doesn't change.
Yeah. On that note, one of the things that you just mentioned that every team is going to be changing the next 2 weeks. Everybody's trying each other out and whatnot. It's largely going to depend on what the next DPC season is going to look like, which a lot of people don't know because last season we were given the impression that, okay, the bottom 2 teams drop out. Everybody else has to qualify, but I'm not 100% certain that's what the next DPC season is going to look like. And I was just told that information on the next DPC is going to come in an announcement within the next 2 weeks for anybody curious. So at that point, the teams will start to lock in based on, I think, positions inside upper and lower division. The upper division slots are going to be very valued because that brings you straight to the majors. So a lot of teams are probably going to go with people they'd rather not. Better players are going to go to worse teams with the captain or manager holds a slot and the key to go to that major pretty much, which isn't the healthiest way of going about everything, but I think that's going to be the system that we're given.
Mm-hmm. We know that
that's
a lot
gonna
of people from lower division teams as well, to kind of back up from what Nomad was saying, are very much feeling like they're going to be picked up at the moment. I think everyone is kind of, even from the top teams who are all shuffling, all the bottom teams are therefore kind of, even if they would otherwise be confirmed, people are like, oh, let's stick together. Everyone's like, well, unless I get an offer. So everything is very much on a smaller thing. The other thing is creep wave. A lot of those players, there's been a lot of rumors about ATF getting offers from big teams, a lot of rumors about Chrysalis getting offers from big teams. So a lot of those smaller players that you've seen do quite well in the season, the lower division of the DPC, may be moving up to larger teams as well. It's worth keeping in mind. But are there any more specific rumors or things that you can share, Nomad?
I have one more question for Nomad before he moves on. You said Mofar is the manager for Hellbear Smashers?
Yes.
Is it him behind those ridiculous Photoshopped Hellbear Smasher photos that get very annoying and...
It is. He's very proud of them.
On Twitter?
They do the rounds, but yeah, it's kind of me and a couple of our friends and him. We kind of brainstorm a bit, give him the fuel behind the fire. But
we'll put a hat on this Hellbear Smasher and Photoshop him in. This one's going to be a banger.
He's
promise.
Really proud of him as well. He's like, I told him to use like this free online photo editor, which he makes all his memes with now, and he's very proud of how he's come along. So, another player to look out for in EU. I think we mentioned him last week as well, but Hansha. Allegedly has been getting some good offers as well, so we'll end up in probably a tier 1 team, which the guy's like 16 years old, from Bulgaria, I think. So that's pretty insane. But the talent scouts are digging deep after TI. Everyone wants the new blood, so a lot of these small players definitely getting it in. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Are there any other specific names you can share? Big drops.
Come on, give us the big teams.
No, not really. Not this time. Next time I will. But I mean, the thing is, anything you share now is just going to change overnight anyway, so it becomes almost untangible immediately.
It's a bit tricky. If you haven't noticed the big news, this obviously isn't a drop from this podcast. S4's retired. Lions have dropped 2 players, as we discussed this week. Hanskin's moving to 5 is relatively public knowledge, I believe. So there's... might want to think about 4s moving around to move to Alliance.
There's a lot of retirements. There is a lot of retirements in the EU region, more than we know at the moment.
More than we know at the moment. That's interesting to hear.
Yes.
Imagine some old players and imagine them retiring. We'll think about that. Let's think about CIS then. I would imagine that the 2 big teams from CIS, Virtus.pro and Team Spirit, are sticking together. From my knowledge of trying to secure interviews with either of those teams, that seems relatively likely to me. Any other thoughts on that?
What was your point? Sorry,
that they're sticking together, Team Spirit and VP.
Team Spirit and VP. No, Save has changed his name to Looking for Team on in Dota, so it seems like they might have let him go. We're not really sure. The CEO apparently reached out and said, no, it's fine. So we don't really know what's going on there, but Save probably either benched or something else in terms of Virtus.pro, which does seem kind of surprising. But
that's surprising.
It is what it is. DM was rumored to leave, and Nightfall has been playing POS 3 a lot in pubs. Could be something there, but again, that's kind of very unconfirmed. But definitely something to think about when we're looking at Virtus.pro. Don't be surprised to see some changes, even though they're like, everyone was saying like, this team's going to win TI next year. And I think it was Kyle who said that. He was like, oh, Virtus.pro, they're going to win TI next year for sure. So possibly some shuffles there, even though the CEO is saying, no, everything's fine. Nothing's changing. But the players showing some odd behavior, which might not suggest that's the case.
I imagine this big... Go ahead.
There is a chance that somebody on EG is going to switch to a different position.
Oh, EG?
Yeah.
That would be ISIS to 4. Arteezy to 4. Abad to 4. Fly to 4.
Another big piece of confidential information that I dug up. I'm pretty sure it's Ice, but I'm not certain.
That's
I was just told
interesting.
that someone's going to be changing their position as well, or there's a strong likelihood. Like a lot of the other things, it's still open to whoever's going to be the best fit to replace the one player they are moving. But I know they're going to be moving at least one person on Evil Geniuses, and there's a lot of talk of somebody switching positions.
I can't imagine Ice out of the off lane. You know, like that's the spot that perfectly fits his playstyle. Maybe a 4.
Well, as I said, that was one of my 4 predictions.
You're not originally a Pulse 2 player, Ice?
Yeah.
A long time
Used to
ago?
be a mid.
Yeah.
A long time ago. Then his off lane just kind of play that way as well. Very trolly on the edge.
I mean, maybe it's just like slowly going down the numbers. You know, he was 2, and then he's 3. Next he's going to be 4, and then in another like 3 years' time will be 5. Who knows?
When he's 40. Okay, I think that's close to it all. Then, has anyone got any final rumors or thoughts they'd like to share?
I have more on CIS.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Apparently, Aloha Dance has left the boot camp of Na'Vi. We don't really know why, but one thing we know about Aloha Dance, and everyone you talk to in the CIS region will back this up, is that he can be a spicy personality, a bit of a tough one to get along with. So either there's been a falling out, or maybe he's been kicked. We don't really know, but something going on with Aloha Dance and Na'Vi, that's for sure. So yeah, who knows what's happening there. Dendi has also left Bates' roster on the team registration website, and his team is no longer on that either. And Watson is also the carry player from Bait, is looking for team as well. So there's 2 extra things about CIS, especially the Dendi thing, which people might find a bit interesting. So we don't know what's happening with Dendi. Is he not going forward with Bait anymore? Or is he... I mean, it'd be very weird if he was reforming it because he's left the team on the website. So we don't really know what's happening there.
It's possible that he sold the slot. There's a little bit of talk about people doing that, because whoever controls the manager slot on the website controls the DPC slot.
I mean, I don't think Dendi would need to do that, but yeah. I mean, if he's retired, or if he's doing something else, then might as well. I mean, he was talent during TI, so maybe that's going to be his future. It's really hard to know, to be honest, but he's always been very insistent on playing. So who knows what's happening.
The dream will come to an end one day. And as the dream for Dendi will come to an end one day, I think this podcast will come to an end, keeping it at perfectly half an hour. When I say that, it's actually 32 minutes. But thanks so much for joining me, guys. You can follow all of them on Twitter. There'll be links in the description for that. And you should, because they're all very good. So that's goodbye from me, and goodbye from all of them as well.